Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 3 of season 5 of our F1 2020 My Team Career Mode, where today we're here back for the Vietnamese Grand Prix. Yes, episode 99 of this series. I cannot quite believe next time out in China we are going to reach the big 100. But obviously, if you missed out on the last video from Bahrain, I would definitely recommend going back and checking it out. Of course, there were spoilers in just a moment, so yeah, if you missed out on that video, make sure, you go back. It was a brilliant race once again. A few more questions have now been answered as to where the performance charts are looking between all of the teams at the moment. And yeah, heading though into this weekend's GP, Max Verstappen still leads the way, 12 points clear of myself though, with George Russell now up into 3rd place there, ahead of Gasly, Norris and Alexander Albon rounding out your top 6 there. Constructors wise, obviously 1-2 in the championship, we're looking really good out front as well in the Constructors' Championship. They're 40 points clear of AlphaTauri and Red Bull there in 3rd place there. Mercedes finally getting some points on the board up into 4th there. But yeah, heading into this weekend though, obviously back in Vietnam, should be an interesting circuit. We'll wait and see as to what everyone else is going to be capable of here. There's always some nice surprises heading to the Vietnamese Grand Prix. But yeah, obviously, if you are new around here as well and you do go on to enjoy, make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well. We're trying to hit 15,000 subs on the channel at the moment, so if you could help us get one step closer to that, it would be greatly appreciated. But let's dive in then here, ready for the Vietnamese GP weekend. Here we are then, back on the streets of Hanoi here for the Vietnamese Grand Prix. Can't believe 5 races we've done around this circuit. It might end up being 5 more than this track really gets to see in the world of Formula 1. But yeah, qualifying though seems to be a fairly predictable story if Q1 is anything to go by. Oh god, that's not going to help us as we head through the first couple of corners. Yeah, Mercedes do seem to be very quick, but like we've seen in the last couple of races, Max Verstappen really does seem to be able to find a lot in the final stages of qualifying. That sort of run isn't going to help us though. I don't feel particularly confident around this track, I'll be honest. Just a little bit loose with the wheel spin and things like that in a couple of places as we just try and work out what the car is capable of. Heading down through the roundabout, running a little bit wide there, and you can just see getting a bit squirrely on the exit. So yeah, just struggling a bit for, just general consistency, getting the car all hooked up around this circuit in free practice and the early stages of qualifying. That doesn't stop us nearly topping out at almost 220 miles an hour down this monstrous back straightaway there. Slam on the anchors. Don't want neutral. Yeah, this lap has been an absolute write-off so far. Trying to just keep it nice and tidy through the final couple of corners. Obviously, we are on the mediums, but as always, don't think we're really going to be able to qualify on them. Through the final turn we go. Yeah, 134 is nowhere near what we need. We need to be finding probably close to 3.5, 4 seconds on that. Getting ready to start our second and final run then of Q2 here for the Vietnamese Grand Prix. 5 of us in the bottom 5 at the moment with 5 different teams. Not too sure who's in 11th. Just outside the cusp as well. But yeah, hopefully we can just get a much better, much tidier lap this time around, obviously on the quicker rubber as well. Just have a lot more grip as we head down, taking a lot of curb through the first couple of turns. You've really just sort of got to try and take as much curb as you can around this Vietnamese Grand Prix circuit, and then it's just about trying to be patient on the throttle, which we weren't on our first run. They're already a second up as we head out of the first sector there, so that's exactly what we need as we head down in towards the roundabout section. Nice and tidy over the curbs. Qualifying is now over. Obviously, we will be able to finish off the laps we're doing, just nudging the outside wall as we try to once again get the power down out onto the huge back straightaway. About 1.5 seconds up now, and obviously we did make a couple of mistakes towards the end of the lap, and as well, the softer compounded tyres should work a whole lot better through that final sector. It should be really where you feel the biggest improvement in comparison to the mediums as well. Back down into first gear, don't use neutral this time round. Just nudging the outside curb there as we try to get the power down, and you can see we're still finding time absolutely everywhere at the moment. Purple through that middle sector is exactly what we need, but still just getting a little bit of kick from the back end. Really have struggled with the balance of the car this weekend. Not too sure why, I'll be honest, as we head down in towards the final few corners there. Second guessing ourselves through that left-hander. Just keep it nice and tidy. 2 more corners to go. Nice and tidy on the throttle. on the exit. We are going to be nearly 3 seconds up as we head out of the final corner, fishtailed into the line. And we have improved, but have we improved by enough? 9th. That was far closer than it should have been. At the end of Q2 there, fishtailing down towards the start-finish line. We were lucky the finish line was there and not a whole lot further down the straightaway. But 3/10 clear into Q3 there, but a second behind our teammate Max Verstappen there as Bottas was the quickest man in Q2 there. George Russell in P3 ahead of Pierre Gasly there. AlphaTauri once again looking incredibly quick this weekend there. But it is Carlos Sainz, Guan Yu Zhou, Stroll, Hamilton, Raikkonen and Lando Norris who don't make the cut into Q3 there. But yeah, we need to find a quick lap here. Maybe, just maybe, if we can get sort of P4, P5, be right with the top runners, that might be all we can get. Because, again, I don't know what's wrong with us this weekend, but we're just struggling to find what we need in this car. Heading out, ready for our first run in Q3 then. Yeah, we need to find something with this car. Whether it's just trying to be a little bit more cautious on the throttle or what, we need to get one good lap hooked up here in the final stages of Q3. We need to be looking towards that 1 minute 30 lap time and seeing just how close we can get to it as we head through the first couple of corners. We just got no confidence on the throttle as we head through the first couple of turns. A little bit understeery, a little bit out of shape. And that's exactly what I mean. What is wrong with us? I think we're going to need some sweat mode for this final run in Q3. Max Verstappen currently on pole on a 1:30.5, and to be honest, if we can get within about 6-7 tenths of that, I'd probably be very, very happy indeed. At the final corner, one final run then around this Vietnamese Grand Prix circuit. It is very much do or die for ourselves at the moment. Bit of a lock-up through turn 1, but that's all okay. Try and get... Oh, where are we going? On the exit of the corner there, really opening up the corner a whole lot more than you're normally able to, as we wall up the wall on the exit as well there. Yeah, I don't know what it is at the moment, but we need to try and get a good lap in at the end of this session. Slam on the anchors at the 100 metre board there, attack the curbs nice and tidy, but again, just understeering out wide. What is the car doing? The balance is nowhere at the moment, and we're going to struggle around the rest of the lap. It's not too major damage, but it is not going to help us one bit as we head down the back straightaway. Activate the DRS very, very late on around this straight as you head down in towards the next big braking zone. Really late on the anchors there, and then try not to clip the curb on the exit as we give ourselves the straightest run possible down in towards the final sector of the lap. Still going purple through sector 2 there, and again you can just hear the wheel spin trying to spit the car one way or another, but we hold on, we don't allow it to do anything this time round. A lot of curb. Again, a lot of curb in towards the final couple of corners. It's felt fairly hooked up, just need to try and keep it nice and tidy. Round the final turn though, up towards the line. What is it going to be?
With qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top 3. Verstappen, Russell and Charles Leclerc. With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
I am just so confused where the pace is falling apart this weekend. Let's compare the split times between myself and Max Verstappen then. So 24.4. I think we're down in the 20... we did obviously make that mistake. Yeah, 24.9, so half a second gone there. I think we were quickest in Sector 2, yeah, by 0.3 of a second. And then final sector, we did a 27.6. Max Verstappen, a 26.3. So we pretty much, yeah, lost all our time in the final sector there. I don't know if we're just going to need to try and give ourselves a little bit more front aero ready for the Grand Prix, but I think we've taken the setup completely the wrong way this weekend, and we've very much paid the price in qualifying. But 27 laps ahead of us around this Hanoi circuit. Maybe, just maybe, we can pick up a few places and see what we can muster up. It's going to be a difficult one, but let's do this thing.
The Formula One circus has arrived in Southeast Asia once more, as we usher in a new era and get ready to go racing here in Vietnam. A lap of Hanoi circuit then, 3.4 miles around the Vietnamese capital. A number of the 23 corners take their inspiration from other great circuits, hopefully creating plenty of passing opportunities. With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position. And starting next to them is George Russell. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Leclerc, Gasly, Valtteri Bottas, and Kvyat, Albon, Perez, Ocon, and Mr. Monaco, Sainz, Zhou, Lance Stroll, and Hamilton, Raikkonen, Norris, Nobuharu Matsushita, and Jordan King, Latifi, Giovinazzi, Magnussen, and Nick de Vries. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
After the points finish last race, let's aim to keep the momentum going.
Well, here we are then on the grid, ready for the Vietnamese Grand Prix. And if qualifying is anything to go by, I think we're in for an interesting one here today. 28 laps ahead of us around this circuit, and I think, to be honest, yeah, we want to be on softer compound tyres as much as possible throughout the entirety of this Grand Prix. Now, I think the key will be get through the first few corners nice and safely, and then try and overtake as many cars as we possibly can down the back straight. We've got good top-end speed still in the car. I am tempted just to up the rear wing, the front wing, sorry, up to 5.6 there, as well as, no, you can do the transmission as well, but I'm not going to change anything on that. But yeah, hopefully we can just keep it clean and tidy. Maybe get a few cars at the start, and then really, yeah, just work our race from there. Keep it smooth, keep it clean, keep it tidy, keep it consistent. Let's dive in. Round 3 of the season here at the Vietnamese Grand Prix. The 5 red lights are coming on now then. 5 red lights. And it's the lights out, and away we go. Wheel spin in 3rd gear there as we try to put the power down in towards turn 1. Carlos Sainz had a worldly of a start down the outside, but we will have a look up the inside of Esteban Ocon through the first corner, 3 wide. It's going to leave us on the outside for turn 2, and yeah, just nowhere to go on the exit of the corner there. We've got another car up the inside as Ocon very, very slow on the exit there, and that's Lance Stroll walloping the wall on the exit of the first couple of corners there, so I think he's going to have to pit. Hamilton tries to line up something down the straightaway, but not enough top end in that Red Bull. As we think about going for a move, Hamilton's completely rammed into the back of us through the next corner there. We get a warning for corner cutting, but no idea what that was from our former teammate there. He's had a couple of times in the past where he's done that on Series on F1 2020, but Hamilton straight into the back of us. I would have thought he's probably got some front wing damage from that as well, but that's meant we're nowhere near the likes of Stroll as we head down the back straightaway here. As we, like I said, planning on trying to go for a couple of moves, but we just haven't got enough top end speed. And nowhere near close enough, as there's even more Constantina up. I think that was Raikkonen going into the back of Norris just behind us. So it's been a bit of a chaotic start to the Vietnamese Grand Prix. As you can see on the mini-map, though, one man who's not had any issues, our teammate Max Verstappen, clear out in front as we head in towards the final few corners of the opening lap there. You can see just now, this is where Stroll's really going to struggle. Yeah, no front-end grip. We'll have a look to the outside. It gives us the inside for the next corner. And we're up into P12 once again there. Stroll into the pits, Hamilton into the pits as well. So those are the only two with enough front wing damage to warrant making the stop. But yeah, end of that one, Verstappen leads the way. A good couple of seconds clear of George Russell. Guan Yu Zhou in that Ferrari really struggling as we head through the roundabout section. We'll have a look up the inside. He just turns in on me through the corner there. Not too sure what that was about, so it is going to be a drag race with the Ferrari man. Down the back straightaway here, who has got the more top-end speed and gives us a bit of a squeeze, but we have, yeah, got a bit more top-end over the Ferrari there, and we are back up into 11th place of this Grand Prix. Don't want to go into the back of Ocon, but certainly want to get as close to the gearbox of the Renault as we can. We're just stuck in such a big train of cars at the moment as we get all over the back of Ocon through the first couple of corners. DRS no has now been enabled in this Grand Prix. As you can see, yeah, just 2 big trains of cars at the moment, and then we got 3 cars that are all way out at the rear of the field there. Can we do to Ocon what we did to Guan Yu Zhou just a lap ago? We'll have a look up the inside, and this time around we do make the move cleanly past and up back into the points here, so back where we started then in this Grand Prix. But look at the run Ocon's got on us. He's got a big, big run. We don't want to give him a squeeze into the wall as we head down the straightaway. But now we've got the DRS just able to inch away once again from the Renault man. Oh, Sainz very, very early on the brakes there. Big front double lock-up once more. But luckily, we avoid him for now. Looking at the mini-map, I think it's Pierre Gasly that's forming a bit of a train at the moment there. As we've got, yeah, just Max and I think George Russell out at the front of the field. But everyone else is just stuck at the moment. As can we do it? Third time's a charm. Yeah, look at that Sainz going incredibly slowly on the exit as he tried to get the power down. So we're just sneaking past cars at any opportunity we possibly can get. But again, look at that. The Renault-powered car coming straight back at us as we head down this back straightaway here. I think we just got slightly better top end than Carlos Sainz, so we were slotting in front of him. But yeah, we're just trying to pick off places one by one, as there's a lot of concertinaing up through the next corner there. Charles Leclerc, I think, is going backwards. Bit of a run on Sergio Perez down in towards the first corner. Not particularly often overtaking place, but we're pretty strong on the brake still and just muscle the Racing Point man on the outside there, up into 8th. Next up then, Danny Kvyat in the AlphaTauri car. Had a very good start to the season, obviously a bit quieter, he hasn't quite had the explosive results that his teammate Pierre Gasly's had, but Kvyat definitely still a top 10 contender early on. Bottas and Charles Leclerc going side by side on the exit of the roundabout here. Can we try and potentially line up a move on all of these guys? They seem to all be so strong on the exits of the corners here, but as soon as we get the DRS, then we can finally start to challenge. They're almost 3 wide, as I think that was one of the Red Bulls of Alexander Albon trying to make a move work where there wasn't any room. We'll have a look to the outside of Danny Kvyat there, and look at that, a very opportunistic move, but we've gone cleaner on the outside of the AlphaTauri. We need to try and get past Charles Leclerc as soon as possible as well here. Up the inside we go. Again, a double lock-up at the front. But another double overtake there. And we're up into 6th place slowly but surely. Sneak on our way towards the front of the field. Albon now, the next car in front of us. Oh, Albon getting incredibly fishtaily out the first couple of corners there. That might give us an opportunity. Let's try and go for something down in towards the roundabout section. Is Albon going to go defensive? Yes, he does. We'll dart to the outside at the last possible moment. There is a bit of contact as Albon tried to run us out wide, but we do make the move work, and we are now up into P5 of the Grand Prix, so really slicing and dicing our way through the pack early on in this Grand Prix. I'm going to obviously use the ERS just to keep Albon at bay as we head down the back straightaway, as we have just about got the DRS of Bottas and Gasly in front of us there. Bottas is going to try and look for a move on the AlphaTauri, who's already at 1 podium this World Championship. Is Gasly going to be able to hook it up right on the outside? I think he might just have done so. Yes, he has. Gasly defending that position perfectly from Valtteri Bottas, and hopefully it'll allow me to get a bit closer to the pair of them. There is Gasly, just a bit of a lock-up on the exit of the corner, but yeah, we are now definitely within attacking range. Oh, Bottas a little bit out of shape there through the first couple of corners. It's always one of those things around this track where you feel like if you just sort of show the nose, you might just be able to get up the inside of another car if you take a bit of an alternate line. It really does cost you both on the exit, but if you can make the move work, then that's a free overtake to be had in one of these Grand Prix there. But Gasly, yeah, very much the cork in the bottle, I think, at the moment. There's all Bottas again, just getting a bit fishtaily as he tries to put the power down. Short shift on the way out of the roundabout section once again, and now we might be able to try and make something work here. Bottas is going to get a big, big run on Pierre Gasly, but we might try and close in on the pair of them as well here. The Honda power unit just doesn't seem to be able to quite supply the torque we need on corner exits, but Gasly just about has enough. We'll have a look at the inside of Bottas. A big, big move. A little bit of a lock-up. We were lucky again not to make contact with anyone, but we are now up at a P4 of this Grand Prix, so it has been a brilliant start and early stages of this Vietnamese Grand Prix, but I can't help but feel we're driving absolutely on the limit, trying to keep this thing pointing in the right direction. Gasly, a bit of a lock-up down through turn 1. Don't want to be doing that, buddy. And like I said, we might just be able to sneak the nose up the inside. I think Gasly's got damage. Yes, I think he does, as we almost get damage ourselves trying to get around the AlphaTauri man. But yeah, Gasly's definitely got a bit of damage there, as now Bottas might be able to come back at us. We'll have to go defensive on the Mercedes driver as we head down in towards the roundabout section on the anchors at the 100-metre board. A lot of curb on the way in, but Bottas, yeah, can't quite make anything work. As all we get incredibly sideways there, as Gasly just tries to slam the door. That might give Bottas a big run on the pair of us there. Luckily, we somehow get away with that with no damage, but Gasly was absolutely having none of that. On the exit of the corner there, almost puts Bottas into the wall as well, so Gasly, a complete fighter at this stage of the Grand Prix. We might get a big run on the pair of them there. They're both going to go very, very defensive. We'll have a look to the outside. Another aggressive move coming in by myself, and somehow we've got round Bottas again. We might now have the inside run on Gasly in towards the next corner. And that is arguably the most aggressive move I think I've ever made on F1 2020. But it's a move that we pulled off as Max dives into the pits. So we're going to have to go one lap longer in this Grand Prix. But that just goes to show just how far ahead of us our teammate is in this Vietnamese GP. Bottas and Gasly from behind diving in. So now we've got to be careful of the undercut. Heading towards the end of lap 9 though, these soft tyres are absolutely destroyed, especially at the rears there. You can just see so much understeer as we head in towards the final couple of corners. We're going to try and go for a bit of an alternate strat and go onto the mediums instead of another set of soft compound tyres here, just in case we get a well-timed safety car or something like that. But you can already see as we head through the final corner, Max Verstappen already has gone past us there. And how bad was the wear? Only 60% on the rear, so certainly not nice, but not as bad as I thought it would be. In all honesty, the car just feels incredibly loose around this circuit. Norris and Guan Yu Zhou have stayed out for another lap. Can we get a tidy stop? 2.6. Charles Leclerc isn't far behind us, but we've got Leclerc on hard, so he might be trying to go to the end of this Grand Prix. There goes Stroll around the outside as well. But where is Bottas? There is Valtteri in this Grand Prix. So I think obviously Gasly, I'm sure, had his front wing changed. So he's now way down the order, but Bottas has got the undercut on us. But we're now going to have the DRS once again on the Mercedes man, so hopefully we can line up a move. And hopefully that move is about to happen now as we try to get a good run on Valtteri Bottas. Now he's got no slipstream or DRS to defend. So hopefully this should be a fairly textbook move on the Mercedes man. 220 miles an hour. He's going to go defensive, but we've pulled this move off a couple of times already. This time around though, Bottas way more aggressive with his defending there. We'll try to get the run on the exit as we head down in towards the final sector of the lap. We're still side by side. Up the inside we go. A few inches later on the brakes, we got yellow flags out, as that is George Russell out of this Vietnamese Grand Prix there. We pick up some damage. We've got a safety car as well, so we're going to have to pit now. We're going to go on to hards to the end of the Grand Prix there. Or, yeah, we're going to go hards to the end, and hopefully this will work out. A bit of an unorthodox strat, but we're going to try it and see if we can get to the end of the Grand Prix. It's really going to help the likes of Lando and Guan Yu Zhou out here, but we're taking a big strategy risk in this Grand Prix. What are the teams saying we should have done? The team aren't giving us any idea as to what we should have done now. But yeah, it's pretty much going to leave us at the rear of the field. But hopefully then we can make it work and slice our way back through. Got held in the pit lane behind Lance Stroll there, as I think Nick de Vries has actually got a penalty for whatever reason. Not too sure what the young Dutchman has done in this Grand Prix, but heading back out of the pit lane. Don't understeer and hit the grass. We're back out in P16, a long way down the order, but hopefully we can get these tyres to the end. End of lap 12 then. The safety car will be coming back in at the end of this one, so we're going to have 16 laps to go then on this new set of hard compound tyres. Max Verstappen isn't too far away from us, as he hasn't really given the safety car much of a gap either here, so this could really go, I feel like, one extreme or the other, where they're either going to be right up at the front come the end of this race, or we're still going to be barely inside the points at the end of this one. Obviously pretty much everyone else on fresh softs, so it might be a little bit more difficult to try and get through a few of the cars, but it is green flag racing once again as we head out of the final corner there. Try to put some temperature through the rears as we head out the final turn. I don't want to be under pressure from Antonio Giovinazzi, I'll be honest, as we head back down in towards the first corner. But yeah, Verstappen once again has bolted off the restart. Can we try and get close to Stroll and start moving forward again? As soon as I say that, look at that, Stroll and Magnussen going side by side down through the roundabout section. Hopefully we can get the power down, we can get some good traction on the exit. It doesn't quite seem like we've been able to, as the AI all seem to be so strong off the exit there, on towards this back straightaway. Can we get close enough to K-Mag to go for anything down in towards the hairpin? I really don't want to be sat behind the Haas through the final sector there. K-Mag, oh, a little bit all over the road. We will get up the inside though in the end. A bit of a second guessing ourselves kind of move, but it is a move that we've still pulled off, and we're back into P15. Oh, look at that. De Vries now and Stroll. It's deja vu of last lap. As, oh, a lot of contact though this time round, as Nick De Vries tries to defend from Lance Stroll. Are we going to be able to get a run on the exit of the corner again on another Haas? This time around I think the traction's been a whole lot better, as hopefully we should be able to move past Nick De Vries down this back straightaway. Haas do still on paper have the worst car in Formula 1 at the moment. Just look at that, Nick De Vries desperate to hold on to any places he possibly can, but just doesn't have the top end speed. Up the inside of Stroll, a bit of a lock-up from the Canadian. A lot of contact between the pair of us, but I think, yeah, that one was a bit optimistic. Oh, Hamilton into the pits at the end of lap 14. Not too sure what Red Bull's strategy choice is there, but, I mean, it's another place for us. So we almost wallop the inside wall, do graze the outside wall, but we get away with it. After Esteban Ocon's just dived into the pit lane, Matsushita is up into a very important P12 for Alfa Romeos. We saying that, slot up the inside of Lance Stroll there, up into P11. Yeah, Matsushita inside the top 10 would be Alfa Romeo's first points in a long old time in the world of Formula 1, but hopefully we're about to knock him outside of those points. As we head down the back straightaway, Matsushita a little bit defensive, but yeah, I don't think he was ever going to be able to do anything about that. So good dive bomb, no locking up that time round, and we're up in the points once more, as Guan Yu Zhou and Charles Leclerc seem to be on the same strategy as myself, so they might be trying to go to the end. Could this be a good day for Ferrari? Guan Yu Zhou, very, very slow in towards the final couple of corners, so we will accidentally go for the move up the inside. I'm up to 9th. Make that 8th as Gasly pits. Oh, Charles Leclerc. Big mistake as we head out of the roundabout there. That's going to give us a big old run before we even get to the DRS zone this time around on the Ferrari. So one lap ago we were behind them both. Now we're ahead of both of them, but still all looking quite good in this Grand Prix at the moment, as Albon, next car up the road, and this race has just been overtake after overtake, and we're just over halfway there. Still 11 and a half laps to go. So there we go. End of lap 17, Verstappen into the pit lane. So he's going to try and go on mediums to the end of this Grand Prix, but are we going to potentially be ahead of our teammate, albeit only for a short period? I would have thought in this Grand Prix. Verstappen has been in a league of his own this weekend, like he's really spent a lot of the early races this season. Through the final turn though, we are going to be ahead of our teammate Max Verstappen here, but it's a case of how long can we hold on to it for. Although we're saying that, he might get the shorter run. We will get the shorter run in towards the first corner, but he is still going to be, yeah, a few places behind us. Now he's got to try and slice his way through the traffic if he still wants to win this race. Oh, Albon, no idea what that was, both locking up and getting wheel spin on the exit of the corner there, down in towards Sector 3. Are we going to be close enough? We go for a big old dive. We just about get it slowed down. And that was a bit of an unexpected move. I thought when we did that one, we were going to be off into the wall there. Slap the Armco with the side of the tyres there. That was lucky not to get any damage, as Lando Norris is into the pit lane. So Bottas is going to inherit the lead. Albon, clearly thinking his tyres have had enough as well in this race. Pits in. So we are going to be up to P2 as we actually went purple through that middle sector. Nowhere near going to be fast enough for a new fastest lap of the Grand Prix. But yeah, up then into P2 of this race. Things might start looking good for us, but Verstappen is already just 3 seconds back on softer, fresher tyres. There we go, lap 19, Bottas into the pits with just 9 to go here from Vietnam. So we are now going to inherit the race lead of this Grand Prix. I don't think it's somewhere I ever expected to be in this race, I'll be honest with you, but if we could hold on to this, I think it would be quite a surprising race victory, but I would certainly take the points. End of lap 20, Verstappen up into P2 now, the gap 3.4 as we cross over the finish line. So we're now going to be watching that gap very, very closely as we try to defend from our teammate here. Could we become the third winner in 3 Grand Prix at the start of this season, just like we saw in last year's campaign? 3 different winners in the first 3 races. It took us a lot longer to get that first win last season, I'll be honest. I was hoping the last time out in Bahrain we'd get our first win on the board, but unfortunately we threw that away right at the very end, and we cannot develop a habit of choking at the start of this season. Verstappen, though, is going to be hounding us down.
Let's use overtake and burn some of this energy.
6 laps to go, though. I'm starting to wonder if this is going to be possible here. Max Verstappen isn't taking a huge chunk of time out of me, lap after lap. So we're just trying to keep it clean, trying to keep it tidy, and maybe, just maybe, we can bring this thing home. I think the other person to watch out for is Valtteri Bottas. New fastest lap a couple of laps ago on those softs. He's taking a lot of time out of everyone, as long as he doesn't get held up behind the Ferraris, who just seem to be dropping backwards in the late stages of this race. 4 to go, and Verstappen is still hounding us. As you can see, the gap now hovering at about 2 seconds as we set a new PB for the Grand Prix. He's still taking time out of us. Can we just keep him out of the DRS for another couple of laps and then just hope, pray that he can't quite get enough momentum on us? You can see just how much curb we're taking in a couple of places, trying to get absolutely everything out of the car, but it's just not working. Verstappen another 1/4 of a second out of us in the first sector there. He is a man on a mission. 2 to go then here from Hanoi, and I'm just starting to think that Max Verstappen's tyres are about giving up with all the grip that they've had. We're still setting new PBs lap after lap in the latter stages of this Grand Prix, but Max has got the gap down to about 2 seconds and can't seem to get it any closer in the dying stages here in Vietnam. Valtteri Bottas is still looking quick behind him, but I don't think we're going to be under any pressure from the Finn. Maybe just he can try and get close enough to Max by the end of this Grand Prix, unless of course Max has just been saving up some ERS ready to attack in the last couple of laps here. Who really knows? But less than 2 laps to go from the Vietnamese Grand Prix, and somehow we are still in the lead. Round in the final corner then, ready to start the final lap of this Vietnamese Grand Prix, and that little slip up certainly cost us a whole lot of time as we head onto this final round of the Hanoi Street Circuit here. It's been an up and down race, it's been an up and down weekend, and I really don't want to say anything too soon because Max Verstappen is hovering right on the DRS window now. But as we head onto this final lap, the sun seems to have come back out here around the Hanoi Circuit as well, which is always nice. You get to see the walls a little bit more clearly rather than hiding in the shadows there. But yeah, it's certainly been a very, very weird GP this one today. A lot of carnage and chaos, a lot of just scrappy racing by a lot of people. But for poor George Russell, 2 mechanical failures in the first 3 Grand Prix, and of course the other race was a win for our former teammate there as well. All our former teammates don't seem to be having much luck. We've got yellow flags out, one of the racing points pulling over right at the end of the Grand Prix. So what is wrong with Mercedes power at the start of the year there? No idea what's happened there. I think actually they might have slapped the wall. Did what I think Bottas did last season. That's not going to help us. Don't do that. Don't do what we did last time. Surely if we can just hold on now in towards the final couple of corners. Don't allow Max Verstappen any sort of opportunity there. No thank you, matey boy. You will not be finding any room in towards the S's here, but that's going to leave it a whole lot closer than I ever wanted it to be. We bottled the win last time in Bahrain, but heading to Vietnam after qualifying, I didn't think we had any pace. I thought maybe, just maybe, we could scrape a podium if things came together, but the perfect safety car for us, and through the final corner, it's going to be a win here in the Vietnamese Grand Prix.
Great job, you've done everything we wanted today.
And with that, we wrap up yet another incredible Grand Prix weekend. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
Well, they played the safety car to absolute perfection. There are so many factors to worry about once the race is neutralised. I mean, do you pit for fresh rubber? Do you have the space behind you? How much fuel can you save? If you answer all of those questions correctly, you'll have a good chance. And that's exactly what happened today.
Here comes your top three making their way down to the podium for what can only be described as a fantastic day for Formula One. Let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. Well, the gap at the top of the championship has been cut down after a difficult race today for our championship leader. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
I think for driver of the day, I'd probably pick Lando Norris. He lived up to every inch of his reputation today, and I think he'll be going home, quite rightly, a bit proud of himself.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. The current leaders continue to extend their lead at the top. There was also a strong showing from the Mercedes team today as they make their way up the standings. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
Well, there we are then, guys, the end of the Vietnamese Grand Prix, and yeah, a very, very crazy race there when all is said and done. Only Kimi Räikkönen, Jordan King and Kevin Magnussen finished where they started in that Grand Prix. That just goes to show how interesting that one was at the end of the day there. But we somehow walk away with the race victory. I'll be honest, as you can even tell by the end there, we still clearly weren't particularly confident in the car. But a perfect strategy call in the end. I thought it was going to be 50-50. I thought we might just be able to scrape a podium with it at the end of the day there. But it pulled off. We managed to make it work, and we kept the tyres in good nick right until the very end. There were a couple of small slip-ups on that final lap, gave Max Verstappen a fighting chance. But it is, of course, as well the team's first 1-2 of the year as well there. So very, very happy with that one. Valtteri Bottas only a second behind at the checkered flag, gets Mercedes' second points finish of the year there. But still a lot of questions have got to be asked down at Brackley there. Lando Norris, a fantastic day out, 16th to 4th there. He only lost out on the podium right at the very end as well there. So that was almost a perfect strategic race from McLaren there. Kvyat in 5th. Finally gets the jump on Pierre Gasly there. Like I said, he's been pretty consistent at the start of this season, just hasn't had the same explosive results as the young Frenchman there. Charles Leclerc in 6th place there. On paper, doesn't look great from Ferrari. Down 3 places from his start position there, but I think that was all the team could ask for after Charles Leclerc had a mega qualifying lap yesterday. Gasly, like I said, in 7th ahead of Sainz and Guan Yu Zhou, with Albon running at the points finishes there. And yeah, Ferrari really making that one-stop work to get both cars into the points areas. If I'm not mistaken, that is Guan Yu Zhou's first ever Formula 1 points as well. Sergio Perez just misses out ahead of Ocon, Hamilton, and then Lance Stroll, who I think made that mistake right at the very end there, down in P14. Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Latifi, King, De Vries, Matsushita and Magnussen, and then yeah, George Russell again not making it to the checkered flag there. A devastating blow for him as he wants to try and win his first Formula 1 World Championship. In terms of the Drivers' Championship though, 5 points now the gap between myself and Max Verstappen there as we both finished on the podium in all 3 Grand Prix this year. Lando Norris' consistency leaves him 3rd place at the moment. They're ahead of Pierre Gasly now, with George Russell dropping down to 5th place there. Albon in 6th, Danny Kvyat in 7th there. Bottas gets his first points on the board all the way up into 8th place ahead of Charles Leclerc there, with Ocon, Stroll, Hamilton and Carlos Sainz dropping back down a few places respectively there. Guan Yu Zhou, yep, as well, first Formula 1 points, leaves just Raikkonen and Perez, and then of course the backmarker 3 teams yet to score points there. And constructors-wise though, the gap up to 67 at the front of the field there. We are looking comfortable early on this season, as Mercedes seem to be good rivals on the track, but consistency has really been a huge blow for those guys. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can come back at us later on this season then. Mercedes, do move up into P3 ahead of McLaren. Red Bull drop all the way down to 5th. Ferrari get the jump on Renault and Racing Point there. And then Haas up to 10th ahead of Alfa Romeo on count back as well there. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, do make sure you leave a like. Get yourself subscribed as well for more of our F1 2020 My Team Career Mode. And yeah, we will be back very, very soon with episode 100 ready from the Chinese Grand Prix. You guys do not want to miss it. A big thank you to our channel members for making these videos possible. You can be featured in these end clips as well as granted access to some other exclusive perks for just £1 a month by clicking the join button below.